Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of the Javi podcast. My name is Jasper. So in today's episode, I have a very special guest with me who has made over 600 reaction videos on YouTube, and he's also a BL fan. So you might have seen his videos somewhere before. If you haven't seen his videos, you've probably been living under the rock. No, I'm just kidding. So with no further ado, let's welcome Javi at Reactions by Javi. Hi, Javi.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really thrilled to have you on my podcast today. So first question. So I really wanted to ask you this. What do you think of me when I reach out to you to come on today's episode? Like, what was your impression of me? Do you think I was some creepy psycho?
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really interesting.
Yeah, what was your impression of me?
Well, you sent me the link to that one video, so I was like, let me check him out. Let me see what I'm gonna be working with here, And I really enjoyed your video and the commentary that you were making and stuff like that. So I was like, this is interesting. I'm into it. I'm glad that he invited me. So here I am.
Thank you. Like, I'm really honored, to have you on my podcast. So I know you don't really talk much about yourself on the social media platform. So I'm curious, can you please introduce yourself? Maybe throw in a couple of interesting facts about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Javi. I go by Reactions by Javi over on YouTube. Like you said in your introduction, I have a bunch of videos. I mainly react to BL, some music, some variety program stuff. And, let's see. Anything special that I can say about myself? Well, I mean, some people know this. I feel like some people pick up on it, and I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. And Spanish is actually my first language, so that's the language that I learned first. And I was actually raised in Puerto Rico, so that was my first language. I didn't move to the U.S. until I was 15, I think. So yeah, I guess that's a fun fact about me.
No, so where do you live in the U.S.?
I live in Florida now.
Oh, you live in Florida. Oh, where do you live before?
I've lived everywhere in the U.S. I've lived so many places. I was in Ohio before this. I actually moved to Florida to be in the Disney College program that they have here.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a bit, and then I just kind of stayed here. And then my mom came here to stay with me, and we've been here for a few years. But we're actually thinking of going back to Puerto Rico. So we're thinking that through.
Oh, nice. So I'm just out of curiosity, are you more of an introvert or extrovert?
100% an introvert. I am nothing like my online personality in my reactions. Obviously that's me, but I just feel comfortable, reacting like that just because it's me by myself. But I'm very socially awkward and a social introvert. I have social anxiety. So yeah, I'm much more of an introvert.
Oh, yeah, same. So I think many people assume that I'm extroverted as well, just because I'm weird and I talk about shit without boundaries. But personally, I don't really hang out in large crowds. I'm also a homebody. I prefer to stay home and chill. So yeah, I'm very much an introvert as well. And I think
That's how I am.
Yeah, and I think the whole online personality. I think there's a lot of YouTubers who seem really outgoing on camera, but they're really different off camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So just going back to to YouTube content. So I've watched a couple of your reaction videos that you did, like Bad Buddy, Heartstopper, Fish in the Sky. So out of all the shows you've watched, right, which is your favorite show? Which is your top 3 and why?
Oh, this is a great question. That I've reacted to or that I've watched?
That you've watched. It doesn't need to be the things that you posted on YouTube.
Okay, so I'm gonna limit this to BL and LGBT shows just because that's So I would say, oh God, I feel like it's really changed recently. But I can't have an order. I'll give you 3, but I'm not gonna do an order because it's really difficult to choose. But I don't know if you've seen it. History 3, Make Our Days Count.
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I heard they're good.
It's it was my number one for a long while. Um, Now it's still in the top three, but I just don't know where I'd place it. But it's 100% in my top three.
Hmm.
It's perfection. I love it. I know it's controversial. I'm not gonna say why, but it's really good. Okay, the next two. Okay, Bad Buddy series. I have to put it in my top three because it's really become such a comfort series for me. I've rewatched it so many times at this point, um, by myself and with reactions. I just go back and see what people are reacting to, and I always go back to Bad Buddy for some reason. So okay, that one. Oh, my third one. There's just so many. There's just so many good shows. It's. Oh, I will say maybe Trapped. That's History 3 Trapped. Um, just because it's really good. Obviously, I'm not mentioning any of the recent ones that I'm reacting to right now because I feel like we have to see how it goes, like Kin Porsche and stuff like that. It's very controversial, and we'll have to see how they pan out.
Yeah.
But I'll say History 3, Make Our Days Count, Trapped, and Bad Buddy series, my top three for now. But I feel like they're always changing and fluctuating. So
Definitely. I think it goes for me as well. But well, I haven't watched a lot of BL series, but like because I've just recently started watching BL, and I think like yeah, like when I first started watching BL, like really gotten into like Together. Have you watched Together the series?
yes, I have. I actually watched it with my mom by ourselves, and then we reacted to Still Together on
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like my first BL series, and I was immediately hooked to it because it was like there are a lot of like really like steamy moments. I was like, whoa.
And it became a whole worldwide sensation as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
it did. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I know you react to other things as well because I've seen there's like a video where you reacted to Morissette singing to Rise Up, which is oh by the way is one of my favorite cover songs that she did. Like,
She's so
um,
good.
she's really really good. Like I don't know if you're a K-pop fan. Are you a K-pop fan?
I'm a K-pop fan, but I'm not like so into the different groups and fandoms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy BTS. It's like my number one. There's ATs.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's GOT7. Like a few groups, but I'm
Mhm.
not really. I don't follow them too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing is, like, she actually did perform in Korea once, like, in one of her stages, and like people started to call her like the rising phoenix of Asia,
Yeah,
because of this is how talented she is. It's like she sang this Korean ballad in 3 different languages while belting all those high notes. So yeah, like I really like Morissette
I
Amon as
still have to
well.
see that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's really really good. So I'm curious, what's your playlist? Do you have like a favorite singer?
Oh, that's a really good question. I I feel like I've said this before somewhere, but I 100% love just the most basic pop music. um, I feel like if we have to talk about like favorite singers, I would say this is really basic. I would say Adele.
I
That's
love
really
her as
basic,
well.
but it's really good. She's really good.
Yeah.
And like I said, just like pop music, kind of like dancey type music, I really enjoy. Um, yeah, so I feel like I've been really actually listening to also some pop punk type 2000s music recently, like
Oh,
uh,
2000 music, like Britney
yeah,
Spears.
Britney Spears, Avril Lavigne. Like
Oh
I've
my
been
god, I
listening to
love
that.
Avril Lavigne.
She's so good. I've been
Yeah,
listening
she's really good.
to her like earlier albums recently. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What's your
It
favorite song
varies.
of Avril Lavigne?
Oh. Actually, the one that I've been listening to the most is, hold on, because I was actually listening to it recently.
Hmm.
It is I have to look up the name because there's so many that I've been listening to. But Things I'll Never Say.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having that like playing nonstop whenever I'm just doing whatever. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
one's my number one at the moment.
Oh, cool. Cool. So, can you tell me how do you get yourself into BL? So I know we've spoken a little bit earlier that you're really into like the LGBTQ series and that you've been like hunting TV series revolving around that genre. So, but can you tell me like how do you get first? What was your first experience like when you first get into BL?
Well, my first experience happened because it was right before the pandemic. So I think it was like January or February of 2020. Um, and I think I saw a reaction on YouTube of someone reacting to Until We Meet Again. Um, and I think I just saw the thumbnail and it was two guys kissing. And I was like, oh, interesting. What is this? So I clicked on it and it was, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I was like, I just kind of saw a little bit of the reaction and the clips. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And the person had linked where the original episodes were, which was on YouTube. So I was like, okay, they put this on YouTube. Okay, let me go and check it out. And I basically binge watched the entire, I think it's like 17 episodes. I binge watched the whole thing in like a few days and I fell in love. And then I started falling on, down a rabbit hole of like all these different BLs. And I started doing some research. And so it basically happened during the pandemic. I just discovered it and I started watching a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on during the summer of 2020, that's when I was like, you know what? I want to join the conversation. I want to be a part of these fandoms. So I started my channel and started doing reactions to them.
Nice. So I know you started your YouTube career for nearly a year and a half, or I think you've been
Oh,
on YouTube for quite some time, haven't you?
it's going on 2 years
2 years,
in like 2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Wow, wow, wow. So since being a YouTuber with over 30,000 subscribers, what do you think? What was the most challenging part of doing YouTube when you first started?
Most challenging part, I think to me it's being consistent and not getting myself down if my videos don't perform good or or they don't reach a certain milestone or whatever. I feel like in the beginning you always try to compete with other people or try to reach a
Mhm.
level of success and you just kind of have to do it for yourself and because it's fun. That's something that I learned pretty quickly, like the first month
Yeah,
or so when I started. I was like, you
yeah,
know what? I'm doing this for me because it's fun and I want to be a part of the
yeah.
conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes I think also sometimes the negative comments.
Oh, do you get hate comments?
I don't get hate comments per se. I mean, there's always every once in a while maybe one comment that's like but the thing is that if I do get a negative comment, it kind of affects me,
Mhm.
and so I've kind of had to learn to not let it get to me and just kind of
Yeah.
you know not pay attention to those
Yeah, well,
comments.
I haven't disclosed this to anyone because I just literally started YouTube like for 2 weeks, and I think one of my videos like it was about like shipping culture, like toxic shipping culture of BL, and immediately the next day I got like a DM, like a EDM, I got a death threat from someone telling me to take the video down. It was
Oh
crazy.
my god,
Yeah, it was
this
crazy.
that's the thing about like I mean for me personally, for my channel, I always try to stay away from like talking about fandoms and stuff like that because like
Mm,
these fans like to attack
yeah.
and if you say something that they don't agree with at all then they just go after you and I mean come on people
Yeah,
just
I know. I mean, this is like just purely people's opinions, right? Like,
exactly,
yeah, there's no need to like like throw in like death threats and message
not a
people like,
death
oh yeah,
threat,
I'm
I
gonna
mean
come over
come
to your house and
on,
kill you. Like, But but I'm actually so surprised because she's so sweet on camera. I'm like really surprised that's there from time to time. Like you might get like hate messages from people.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just try to be myself and be nice, and I guess some
Hmm.
people just don't like that. I don't know, but yeah, I just try not to pay attention to them and just do my own
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so I think I think that I guess that's one of the challenging part when I first started like doing YouTube was like when I because I do feel like sometimes like I do feel conscientious of the content that I post online, like
Yeah.
especially it's like it's out there in the public, right? So sometimes I feel really uneasy after each upload because like sometimes I'm just like unsure whether if I've crossed the line or not. Because
Hmm.
like I try really hard to keep my opinion as neutral as I can, but you know like sometimes like you get hate from other people who disagree with you or with
Yeah.
me. um, yeah.
No,
So
I
I'm
feel
just
the
really,
same way. I
yeah.
listen when I because for some of the shows that I upload, we
Mhm,
have to edit them and we have to send them in for approval, right? And
mhm.
so like GMMTV and like Kin Porsche, those kind of shows, we have to send them in for approval. So if I do a show and I do a reaction and I send it in for approval, I am thinking about that reaction the entire day or 2 days, however long it takes for them to approve it. And in my head, I'm like, what are people going to be thinking about my comments? What are people going to be thinking about my reaction? And so I'm always just like worried about that. And then when the comments start pouring in, I'm like, okay, they don't care that much. It's fine.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about like this whole approval process because I'm not very familiar with like with the whole copyrights thing. So you have to send like a video to GMM TV before you can upload.
Yeah, so the way it works is it wasn't like this when I started actually. It was we used to just send an email. But then I think after a while because so many people were sending emails, they just came up with a form. So now there's a form whenever you react to something GMMTV related, if it gets blocked, then you just have to fill out the form with your video link and then send it in and then they have to approve it. So a bunch of these companies actually have recently been doing this where they set guidelines for reactions because they know that reactions are quite popular in the BL world. So they have guidelines and then they have like an email or something like that where you would have to get approval by them and then it takes about a day or two usually for them to approve it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty quick, hey?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So next question. So if you could have a dinner with any actors or actresses, who would you choose and why?
Oh, oh God, there's so many. People are gonna flame me because I have so many boyfriends and husbands in the BL world, you know. I would say honestly, it's between two people. I would say either Om Pawat because I love that man, um, or Earth from A Thousand Stars because I also love that man. So either one of those two, I feel like I would love to hang out or have dinner with.
And why? Why would you choose them?
Oh, why? I don't know. They have different personalities. I feel like Om Pawat, he's just really goofy, but he's also really nice and sweet. So I would just like to hang out with him and see what he's like in that kind of setting. With Earth, I feel like he's quieter. Um, I feel like he has a secret goofy side too, though. So maybe
Mhm.
that's why. I'm someone who I really enjoy outgoing people because I'm not outgoing. So I love hanging out with people who will take me out of my comfort zone, I feel like.
Yeah. Like for me, I would think I would choose Ja. Do you know who Ja is?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
he's in Don't Say No, isn't he?
yeah. He's in Don't
Okay.
Say No as Leo. Because I actually do follow him on YouTube, and apparently, like he really knows where the good restaurants are. And he would like travel around,
Mm.
like in his YouTube, like just vlogging, like around Thailand, eating good food. So I think he probably knows where all the good restaurants are. So I'll probably, yeah, for me, I would probably choose Ja.
Okay, okay. He's so tall.
Yeah,
I've seen
apparently, I think he was a model or
pictures.
something, right?
It makes sense. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but isn't short too. I think he's like over 180 something centimeters.
He is tall. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
I
like the
think like
tall
all of
guys.
I feel like a lot of the BL actors are a lot taller than me. I'm like literally just 175 centimeters tall. Like
Really?
I'm a midget compared to them.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, they're really tall, but yeah, I can just imagine myself, you know.
Just standing next to them.
Yeah, I was just looking up.
Hey, so random question. So tell me how embarrassing would you call this on your embarrassment radar? So I just wanted to see if you're really like if you're easily embarrassed or not. So
Okay.
so there's this one time, right? I was at the gym, right? And I was doing some pull-ups on the pull-up bar. So there's this dude, he was like working out across from me. So you know like normally during like pull-ups, you have to hang yourself onto the bar and suspend your body, right? So what happened was my shorts fell off right in front of him. He looked mortified. He probably thinks I'm some crazy flasher or something.
Oh my goodness. Did you have anything under your shorts?
No, yeah. It was like
Okay.
my undergarment.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't flash my junk though.
right,
That'd be
right. Oh, on a scale of what though? Because
like on 1 to 10, like 1 to 10,
1 to
like one
10,
not being not too embarrassed, but 10 is like very embarrassing.
how often do you frequent this gym?
Like once a week. There was that time like my pants, like my shorts were so loose, man. Like it was so loose and it just fell off.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I put myself in your shoes, oh god, I feel like it would be like a 7 or an 8. Like, it's pretty embarrassing for me. I would not know what to do. I would be so embarrassed. I would probably leave and never come back. Oh my gosh, that would be so, yeah, that would be so funny.
Yeah. Have you ever had any like embarrassing moments
Oh, I'm
that you're
sure I
happy to share?
have. I'm sure I have. I'm trying to think. Oh, this one was. I mean, I was fairly young, but it was so embarrassing that it's fairly ingrained in my mind. So I was in the first grade, and I was 5 years old. And I remember. I like I said, I'm really shy, but back then I was like painfully shy, to the point where I didn't talk to anybody. Like, this was actually a new school at the time, and I didn't have any friends or anything yet, so it was very, very new. And so I needed really badly to go pee. And I didn't want to raise my hand and ask the teacher if I could go to the bathroom. And so I was just like trying to hold it in until it was getting to the point where I really couldn't. And so I raised my hand finally and I was like, "Can I please go to the bathroom?" I got the okay. And then on my way to the bathroom, on my way there, I just peed my pants. And that was, again, I was 5 years old, but it was just so
Yeah.
embarrassing. I like tried to like dry it off and everything. And then I just went back to the classroom. And I mean, I'm sure people could tell or something. I don't know. Nobody ever said anything to me, but it was just, I feel like it was just embarrassing for me because I don't think anybody else knew. But because it happened to me, I was just really embarrassed about it. So that was like a 10 for me.
Yeah, I feel like everybody would have like peed their pants at least once in their life. At least I'm pretty sure I peed my pants
I'm
like many
sure.
times when I
I'm
was young.
sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that's too embarrassing. I mean, at least you didn't like flash your junk.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. At least my pants didn't fall off.
Yeah, exactly. At least your pants didn't fall off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is gonna sound stupid. So do you believe in paranormal shit? Like, do you believe in ghosts?
I won't say that I don't believe in it, but I've never had any like paranormal stuff happen to me. So I don't not believe in it either. I don't know. It's just a weird thing where like I've never experienced anything, but I kind of believe some people who have said that they've experienced stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced like any of these paranormal like stuff before?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I would you see that would be another time where I would pee my pants, you know? I would pee my pants 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Like I would pee my pants too, but like it actually happened to me. Have you heard of sleep paralysis?
I get sleep paralysis.
Oh, you do? What was your experience
Yes.
like?
Well, it happens to me.
Do you hear like
I,
ghosts giggling?
no. I wouldn't say it happens to me often, but it happens to me every couple of months or something, where I'm either lucid dreaming, and I become aware of my
Mm-hmm.
lucid dreaming, and then I can't move, and
Yeah.
so that's like the sleep paralysis. But I've never experienced anything paranormal while I'm in sleep paralysis.
Yeah, like for me, like I also have like sleep paralysis. I actually never had like sleep paralysis my entire life until I moved into my new apartment. And so
Oh, really?
essentially, like yeah, essentially, like my thing was there was a ghost fucking with me all night. Like I don't know if it's in my dream or actually happened, but I kept telling myself if I don't acknowledge it, it will go away, right? But it keeps turning on and off the light. Like I don't know if it happened in my dream or not. Like when you wait, it's kind of like when you're dreaming about like brushing your teeth and then you wake up, like oh, and then
Yeah,
you'd
'cause
be
you
like
thought it
oh
was
fuck, like
real.
yeah, you thought like I thought it was real.
Yeah,
It's like fuck,
yeah.
I'm late kind of thing. Like that's so creepy.
It's creepy. That means that place is haunted, though, because if that didn't start happening until you moved there,
Yeah,
ooh,
I wonder who
that's
died there. I'm curious
ooh,
now.
no, no, thank you.
Okay, next question. So we're kind of like completely off the tangent now. So do you believe in love at first sight?
Oh, that's tricky because again, it's one of those things that I don't think I've ever experienced. So I can't say if I believe in it or not. I feel like sure, I could believe in it. I guess if somebody just tells me like, oh, we saw each other from across the room and then we had an immediate connection and
Mm-hmm.
then we got to know each other. I kind of believe in that kind of stuff. Um so yeah, I guess to a certain extent I would.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Like I think like for me, I'm like a complete opposite. Like I don't think it's possible to fall for like someone instantly. Like
Yeah, I
because
mean,
for me like personally, I have like dozen like crushes throughout my life, right? And
yeah,
none
yeah.
were instant. Like sometimes it just took a while to actually feel the connection. So
Yeah.
I think like it's instead of love at first sight, I think for me maybe it's more like an infatuation over the person's looks.
I
It's
feel like
like
I agree. I agree with that because it's the same for me. It's always gradual for me.
mm-hmm,
It's never like instant.
mm-hmm.
So when people say that they fell in love at first sight, I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Like love is something I do think like it takes time to grow. Like from a little seed into a huge tree sort of a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So which leads on to the crux of today's episode. So today we'll be talking about the Heartstopper. So just for a recap, or if anyone hasn't watched the show yet. So this series is about like the story of two British teens, Nick Nelson and Charlie Springs. So they attend an all-boys grammar school. So Charlie, he's a high-strung, openly gay overthinker, and Nick is a cheerful, soft-hearted rugby player. So one day, they were made to sit together in class. Their friendship quickly became something more for openly gay Charlie, but he initially does not believe he has a chance with Nick. But love works in the surprising ways, and Nick is more interested in Charlie than either of them realize. So this is pretty much like the summary of the show. So, Javi, what was your initial feeling when you first watched the show?
Oh my god, I love it so much. It's literally one of my favorites ever. I mean, I should have put that in my top three because I feel like it's really become also like a comfort show for me recently.
Hmm.
And I actually read the comics before the series came out.
Oh, you
And
did?
so, yeah, I
Apparently, people
actually,
say it's a bit different, right? It's a bit different from the TV series.
um, not much actually.
Oh, not much.
It's very faithful actually. I've noticed. I mean, there's a couple characters that are kind of um that are in the comic that are not in the series. They've kind of been kind of swapped out for new characters. Um, but overall, I found the comic before they even had announced that it was going to be a Netflix show. And the comic became a source of comfort for me. So when they announced the series, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. I can't wait." And then the series came out and it's just I don't know, it's just so positive.
Hmm.
It highlights queer
Yeah.
youth in such
Yeah.
a perfect way and so positive that I
Yeah.
feel like we haven't gotten that much of. It still deals with some difficult topics, but it does it in like a lighthearted way or in an easy to digest way. So
Hmm.
I love it. I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I totally agree because the show doesn't have like a lot of conflict, right? Um, and it doesn't really like languish on the trauma of like of the marginalized people's experience. Instead, it's about more about normalizing diversity. And I just
Yeah.
really like the fact that how the characters seem to have a really good grasp of sexuality. So, and I think it in a way also gives me this melancholy of high school. So it's well, because I'm already in my 20s, like I'm in my mid 20s. So
Me
like
too.
yeah, so like back in high school, I think like these kind of relationships were still kind of like taboo.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see like teens who are open about their sexuality and like and embarking on a voyage to of self discovery. So yeah, so I think like it is a very like encouraging TV series to watch for someone like myself, like being in my 20s to see like things have been
Yeah.
becoming more and more progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
especially for the younger generation also that's coming up
mm,
now, to see that kind of representation, because like I wish I had that type of content when I was a teenager. And
yeah.
I also wish that I had the mentality to like accept my sexuality and be knowledgeable like these characters are. Like, to
Hmm.
be queer and to be young, I feel like today, yes, there are still so many challenges, but like to have that knowledge and to have as much positivity as there is now, I feel like it's so beneficial for the younger generation that's coming up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree with you. So this might be a really difficult question. So who's your favorite character?
Oh God. Oh, this is so difficult. I feel like they're also great. They're also great, but if I have to pick, I'm gonna mention two because I feel like it's a tie between those two. But I feel like it's between Nick Nelson, just because he's great. I just love him. I love how caring and nice he is, and how open and positive he is, even with all you know, the outside forces that are trying to like keep him down, like some of his friends and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then I will say, uh, hmm, I feel like L has become one of my favorites too. Like whenever I watch reactions and stuff like that, I'm like waiting to see what people see and what they think about L's scenes and stuff like that. And I really want them to explore more of her backstory as well, because I feel like there's a lot there that we still have yet
Yeah,
to see.
she was introduced as a transfer student, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So was there anything about the show you didn't like?
That I didn't like. Hmm. I mean, I didn't like that it was too short. Like I wish it could have been much longer, but Not really, no. I feel like because also the writer of the comics, she's, involved in the creative process of the series. I feel like it's very faithful. It still has that lightheartedness that I mentioned
Hmm.
earlier, especially from the comic.
Yeah.
So I really don't have anything negative to say about the series or anything that I didn't like.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything negative to talk about the series. Although I would say I was a little bit bummed out about like how Elle and Tao they had this chemistry, right? And I was like really rooting for them to actually be together, be a
Yes.
couple. And then ended up just being friends. I was like, no.
That was one of the things that I was worried about because in my head I was like, okay, the spark is there. I
Yeah.
know where it's eventually going, hopefully.
Hmm.
And like I said, I've read the comic, but in my head I was like, oh my god, they're really gonna end it like that. And then what if we don't get any more seasons because Netflix is so unpredictable with like, you know,
Yeah.
canceling popular shows and stuff like that. So I was like, imagine if they leave it like this and then we don't get any more story. I would be devastated. But yeah, Elle and Tao, they're just so freaking cute.
Yeah, they're so freaking cute. I just really like Ellen House so, 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 so much. So,
Yes.
do you think the show deserves a second season?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it got renewed already. So I was like, you know, please, if a show deserves more seasons, it's this one because it's just so, like I said, so positive and it deals
Yeah.
with things so brilliantly. So I was like, if any show deserves it, and it's easy to digest. I mean, it's 8 episodes, half hour. So
Hmm.
if anything deserves it, it's this show. I was like, yes,
Yeah. So
please.
I know. So being being a YouTuber who react to videos, like what would you like to see in the next season?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if I've since I've read the comic, I don't know if I should say because I feel like it could go into spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people know. I guess I could say, um, in the progression of the timeline, there's a trip to Europe. Well, they're already in Europe. There's a trip to Paris,
Oh.
um, and so I would really like to see that in season two because it kind of progresses the story a lot. There's also a big um, if you've read the comics and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But Charlie, um, it gets darker. So the story gets a little bit darker and it deals with more um, important topics. And so Charlie goes through something really important. And I feel like that's going to be one of the things that they should focus on in season two. Um, because it's the comic handles it really well,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's important to highlight that kind of stuff, especially in the LGBT community, because I feel like it's not something that's discussed as much. So I think that would be good.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited for the second season as well. Very, very excited. So,
And
so
third, because we're getting a
and
third one
third
too.
season. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Netflix surprised everybody because like I said, they rarely renew shows, but then they decided to renew Heartstopper for seasons 2 and 3. So I feel like there's a lot of story coming, and they can really, based on the comics, flesh it out. And I wanna also see more of the side character stories, like
Yeah.
Isaac. Isaac's is one of the characters that we rarely know anything about him. We just know that he's kind of quiet and he's always reading books. And I would really
Hmm.
like to know more about him. I think that the comic writer said online that he's Arrow Ace. So I feel like that's really a really good plot point to explore as well for the character.
Oh, nice. What about Ben? What do you think about Ben?
Oh, Ben.
Would you want to see Ben in second season and third season?
Listen, I would only like to see Ben just because I love Sebastian so much, the actor who plays him. He's great. He's so different than Ben. You know what? I would like to, as much as I despise him, I would like to see maybe some background. I don't know if he's a character that could be redeemed just because he's so. I feel like he's aware of the things that he does and that he shouldn't be doing them. But I
Mhm.
would like to maybe see some of his background explored, or maybe he can. I don't know. Maybe he can become a better person.
Okay, let's talk about character shipping. Do you do character shipping?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, like, so besides like from the couples and like in the actual story, like, who would you ship like the other characters with with the other characters like besides the
That are
actual
not
main couples?
together.
Yeah, they're not together.
Oh, this is good. Ooh, it's. Hmm. I'm trying to think because there's so many different possible ways it could go. Um, well, I mean, we don't have to. I mean, should we take into account their sexualities? I guess we don't,
No, 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 for
right?
sure not. No, it's
Okay.
BL.
Right, right. Okay. Oh, God. I feel like it would be interesting to see Tao. Tao and I was gonna say Nick,
Okay.
just because they despise each other.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be such a good enemies to lovers storyline,
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe remember Nick told Tao that he should join the rugby team. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be an interesting storyline. So those two, I feel like it would be great.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I would say as well. Like they're sort of like enemies, right? They didn't like each other at all throughout the series.
Well, I mean, I feel like it was also maybe a little one sided because Tao was the one that was just so he couldn't stand, Nick. So I feel like Nick was he was neutral in that situation. I feel like Tao was the one
Yeah,
that was just really, yeah.
yeah. So I know you're like a connoisseur of like BL series. So I have this question for you. How different do you think is Western BL series compared to Thai BL series, or at least Asian BL series?
Well, I mean, well, first off, I don't think the Western series consider themselves BL just because I feel like for Western series, especially recently, they've highlighted the LGBT community very freely, whereas I feel like BL, it's been sometimes they don't acknowledge it as much. I feel like the recent ones they've kind of started acknowledging the LGBT, community, and the characters are often now not afraid to say that they're gay or that they like a guy.
Mhm.
Whereas if you go and watch the earlier BLs, um, a lot of them would say that they were straight and they just liked one guy, or that kind of trope. Um, I feel like the main difference I would say is that there's a lot more variety in Asian BL. There's just so many BLs, especially nowadays. There's so many coming out during the year, whereas I feel like the Western world is much. They don't really come out with LGBT content often. It's like
Yeah,
maybe one movie or two a year, maybe one
yeah,
series with like side characters. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I feel like the Asian BLs are really focusing on, especially now, bringing main characters that are part of the LGBT community and being the main focus. So
Yeah, I agree with you. Like when you think about progressiveness, like you think of the West, right? Like, and because you have like in the West, like you guys have like the same sex marriage and all that. And surprisingly, there isn't like a whole lot of like BL series produced as compared to Thailand. Because I
no,
know in Thailand they just come out like every single month.
yeah, there's so many.
There's so many different Thai BL series. I just thought that is very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they need to step up their game over here in the West. They need to.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know these big streaming services like HBO Max and Netflix and stuff like that. I feel like they should have like a whole separate LGBTQ plus division where they, you know, bring out content constantly, because like it's a whole community, it's a whole different type of fan base. So I don't know. I feel like more stuff should be coming out. They should just do what these Thai companies are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so since you're a YouTuber who reacts to videos, like I've said this so many times, but like what kind of BL content would you want to see in the future? Because we know, like in Thai BL, we all know, like it's very generic. So always like the characters are all university students. They're engineering students.
Yeah.
And then
I would say not university students anymore. I would say, you know, I would like to see more of other type of concepts and other, you know, outside, maybe adults. We're seeing that with Kin Porsche, obviously, with the whole mafia stuff. We saw that with 1,000 Stars, which was, you know, what was it? It was like what was Earth's character? He wasn't military, because I know that they changed it from military to like an officer of like the town or something. And then Tien was a teacher in that. Although he was technically a university student who was, I feel like, engineering, but then he was like a teacher, volunteering as a teacher. So I guess, but you know, it was in a village in the north of Thailand. So that kind of stuff I really enjoy. Stuff that's like outside of the university setting, and also that's a little bit more adult and dramatic. I also like just slow burn romance. I just really enjoy the slow burn romance. Like, I mean, 1,000 Stars is the perfect example of that. But I also enjoy the bad buddy type of getting together early, because that doesn't always happen in Thai BLs. They just get together at the end, and then we don't get to see them being together. And I'm like, why? But I feel like that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy. I really enjoy the romance stuff over like more sexual type of, you know, spicy scenes. But I mean, I still enjoy the spicy stuff. Trust me. With Kin Porsche coming out, I mean, it's been really good. But they've also been serving in like the romance department, and it's so nuanced, and the characters are so diverse in terms of like the things that they're dealing with. So I like complex storylines.
Oh, apparently Drake is in it. I think I saw a video where you interviewed Drake. What was the experience like? This is like very sidetracked, but I'm just kind of curious. I'm actually very curious.
Yeah, so he was in 1,000 Stars.
Yeah, he's in 1,000 Stars.
He did 2 behind the scenes vlogs for his channel. And I reacted to them on my channel, and while I was reacting, I just basically said, "Oh my gosh, Drake, if you ever want to do an interview, let me know." I just said that in the video in my reaction, and he commented. He commented on my video. I guess he just he watched it. He saw that someone reacted to his vlog, and he just watched it, and he saw me say that, and then he commented, "Sure, let's do it." And I was like, oh my god, really? And so I DM'd him on Instagram, and he got back to me, and then we set it up, and then we did the interview. So it was very surreal.
Yeah, it seems like he's really, really cool, because I actually did watch the video. I was like, whoa.
He's really, really sweet, really nice. It was
he's really, really sweet and nice. Yeah, for sure. So if you were to do an interview, like, again, like, who would you interview? Which BL actor would you interview?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. There's just so many great actors. You know, someone that I've really loved for a while now, and I feel like I don't talk nearly enough about him overall and on my channel, but I do really love him a lot, is Tay Tawan. I love him so much, and I think he would be a great one, especially because he always says he doesn't speak English, but then whenever he speaks English with people, he's really good. So I feel like
Yeah.
he's being modest about his English. But I would love to interview him. He's so sweet.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I actually have seen like there's one um YouTube. I think it was a Thai show. There's a Thai reality show where do you know there's an actress named P Jenny.
Yes, I love Jenny. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
P
yeah,
Jenny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they did a reality show together with Gunn. They're
Mm.
so funny. They're hilarious.
I think somebody told me to react to that. I still
Yeah,
need to watch it, but P Jenny is another one that I would love to interview. Oh, I would
me too.
love to talk to her.
I think it would be
She's so
wild.
good.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would
she's
be
so
great.
funny.
So
Yeah.
funny.
So funny. Okay, so let's go back talk about you. So, what are your plans? Like, what are your future plans on your channel? Like, are there any other uh reaction videos that your viewers should anticipate?
Well, we're about to finish watching Star in My Mind, which ends on Friday, and then the other half, I guess, of that storyline with the main character's brother. I don't know if you were familiar, but I think it's called Sky in Your Heart. I just recently reacted to the trailer. So it's kind of like two stories into one. So the first series is 8 episodes, second series is 8 episodes, and that
Mhm.
starts premiering next week by the time we're recording this. So that's the next thing that I'm gonna be reacting to on my channel. Again, I'm reacting to Kin Porsche, which has been it's brought a lot of people to my channel, which I'm really grateful for, and it's just so interesting the conversations that we're having with that one. Um, and yeah, I mean, I also have a Patreon where I react to K dramas and some BL shows that I can't really post on YouTube because they get blocked. Um, so I react to some things over there that I can't really post, publicly on YouTube because it can be dangerous for my channel. But yeah, I mean, whenever
Why?
there's
Okay, you can't just say that casually. You have to spill the tea.
no, well, but because there's for example some Korean BLs, they literally strike your channel if you have a reaction for a certain series, depending. So I know some of my friends, we were reacting to Semantic Error. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's really
Yes, I
good.
have. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So I was reacting to that on Patreon, and I saw that some of my reactor friends were posting literally 1 minute, previews on YouTube, so that people would
Mhm.
know that they were reacting to it on Patreon. So I decided to do the same thing, just so that I can, you know, tell my audience that I was reacting to it. And so I started posting the 1 minute previews, and then I got a DM from one of my reactor friends, and she was like, I'm telling you right now, take your previews down because they just gave me a strike for my 1 minute preview. And if you get a strike on your channel, you basically can't really post for like a whole week. And then if you get 3 strikes on your channel, they literally take your complete channel down.
What? What?
So yeah, so she was like, delete your previews before they get you, because she had gotten a strike, and then another reactor friend had gotten a strike. So I was like, okay, let me go delete it real quick. So that's the thing, you can't really know for sure, what shows get strikes and stuff like that. So I always just try to react to things that I know for a fact the company doesn't mind,
Hmm.
because I don't want to lose my channel. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. Do you know how to get away, get around with it?
No, not really,
No.
because the thing is that a lot of these, they manually search them up. So even
Oh.
if you mask the episode and you put stuff over it so that you can't really see it, they literally look them up, and then if they see that you reacted to it, even if you masked it, they manually block it or they manually strike your channel. So it's
What? That's
yeah,
well, that's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know Okay, I know this is not like K dramas, but I know like back then, like a lot of like these Japanese dramas and Japanese music videos, they do that also. Like a
Yeah.
lot of these like record labels and all these media company, like if they see like the TV shows uploaded to YouTube, like they immediately would take them down.
Yeah, and it's like if the thing is that if they just block them, then it's fine because you can always either appeal, and
Yeah,
if your appeal gets denied, then you can just delete
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But some of them don't even block them. Some of them literally just strike your channel and take them down, and then
Oh, that's awful.
that affects the channel. So
Yeah, that really affects.
I'm always mindful to check, what I do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So on that note, so I think that's it with today's podcast. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and also follow my Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, which will also be linked in the description box below. If you're watching this, I'll link Javi's YouTube channel in the description box. So I'll see you guys.
This
Bye.
was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.